Coming up on Quad Cities today at 11, Florida continues to reel after the destruction caused by Hurricane Ian. The latest report coming up. Plus, learning more about the candidates in Scott County ahead of the upcoming elections. How organizers of the weekend's forum working to keep people informed.
And right now we are looking at mostly clear skies across the region, expecting more of the same to come, but a few changes by the end of the week. Details just ahead.
Live from the KWQC studio, this is Quad Cities Today at 11.
Topping your news this midday, communities across Florida are attempting the unimaginable job of cleaning up and rebuilding 5 days after Hurricane Ian struck the state. Thanks for joining us for Quad Cities Today at 11. I'm Kyle Kiel. Morgan OTA is off. Some Floridians are just trying to get basic infrastructure rebuilt and restored. So far, dozens of people are confirmed dead in Florida, and at least 4 others have died in North Carolina. Ivan Rodriguez is in hard-hit Fort Myers Beach with the latest.
The situation on the ground is filled with challenges. We're still seeing shortages in water, gas, and electricity. We're also following stories from survivors and victims. As search and rescue efforts continue, more deaths are being reported. Days after Hurricane Ian ripped a deadly path through Florida, residents are left with the daunting task of picking up the pieces that are left behind.
We don't know our future because we don't know, can we rebuild?
But where and how do they start? Some communities still don't even have the basics like power or running water. Not to mention many local stores and businesses where they could have purchased supplies or hired services have also been damaged or destroyed.
That's a concrete floating dock, which is on the other side of our house. I don't know how it's going to get off of there.
And then there are those who face additional cleanup challenges. Their homes cut off when bridges were washed away in the storm or roads were swamped.
They're stuck on, islands, either man-made islands that have been there for some time that are surrounded by water, but more importantly, those are areas that weren't islands before, and now they are surrounded by water.
Search and rescue efforts are ongoing. The governor's office says more than 1,600 people have been rescued since last week, and it will take months, if not years, for these hard-hit communities to rebuild.
People need to take care of their emotional and mental health because we're really going to need to work together on this.
Governor DeSantis is standing by decisions of Lee County officials whose evacuation orders came a day after those of nearby counties. In Fort Myers Beach, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Meanwhile, parts of the Northeast are still feeling the effects of what was Hurricane Ian. The remnants of the storm that brought destruction to Florida and parts of the Southeast are slowly moving off the New Jersey shore. The Harvey Cedars Police Department released videos showing the high waves washing over the beach yesterday. Heavy rain and 60-mile-per-hour winds continue to slam Atlantic City this morning. Meteorologists there are watching to see if the high tide later today will push the seawater over the beach and into the city streets. Here at home, our weather has been on cruise control after a nearly picture-perfect fall weekend of weather here in the Quad Cities. Lots of sunshine this morning on our Skyview camera. Teresa Bryant joining us now with a look at our first alert forecast. And Teresa, it is definitely feeling like the fall season and really starting to see those trees pop with color.
Yeah, indeed. And in fact, we are starting to see a little bit of a warm-up taking place for the start of the work week. In fact, pleasantly warm with afternoon highs reaching into the 70s. Right now in the Quad Cities, clear blue skies overhead, 63 degrees in the QC, southeast winds at 5, 60 now in Galena and also Kewanee, 61 in Mount Pleasant, 62 in Davenport and Iowa City, as well as Burlington, 63 in Macomb and Muscatine. And as you can see, winds now moving out of the southeast and south at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And we are seeing a few clouds off to the north, but nothing of any great consequence. In fact, we'll continue to see high pressure and control here. That means plenty of sunshine through this afternoon. Now, a few clouds may be passing through some of the western edges of our viewing area overnight. Otherwise, mostly clear and cool, and it looks like we'll see more sunshine along with a gradual increase in cloud cover as we head into Tuesday and more warmth as well. Temperatures today reaching a high right around 74 degrees. 70s continue into Tuesday and Wednesday.
2 people are dead and another is hurt after a crash in Lee County, Illinois over the weekend. Deputies were called to the intersection of Lamoille and Maintown roads just after 3 Saturday afternoon for a 2-vehicle car crash. The 2 cars were driven by 27-year-old Dane Mormon and 72-year-old Bonnie Acker. Both died as a result of the crash. 23-year-old Victoria Mormon was taken to the hospital for treatment. The crash is still under investigation. 1 man is dead after a motorcycle crash in Whiteside County. It happened Saturday afternoon around 2:40 on Moline Road in rural Sterling. Witnesses told investigators they saw the motorcycle drift off the road and land in a ditch. 45-year-old Jeremy Hall of Sterling was driving the motorcycle. He later died from his injuries at the hospital. Recapping some of the local events from over the weekend, Abate of Iowa held the 38th annual Toys for Tots motorcycle run this weekend. The motorcycle ride started at 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the West Kimberly Road Walmart in Davenport. They drove up Brady Street right by our studio and then ended in Bettendorf. Admission was a donation of 1 new toy per person. All the toys were strapped to the motorcycles as they drove by. More than 100 people helped fight hunger yesterday by walking in the 51st annual Quad City Crop Hunger event. It was the first time the walk was held on the I-74 bridge, raising about $30,000 for local and international meal sites. 20% of the proceeds, as well as about 200 jars of peanut butter and jelly, were going to be donated to local groups like Meals on Wheels and food pantries.
There's a lot of need in this world, and if we can work with handling the hunger aspect of it, then that touches a lot of people because everybody eats.
Some of the money raised will also reach families in Ukraine, Puerto Rico, and Florida. For more information about how you can give, visit our TV6 News app and website. Looking ahead to the upcoming election, Davenport's NAACP and LULAC held a People's Forum over the weekend, giving several candidates for the Scott County Board of Supervisors a platform to answer questions from the community. The event covered a range of issues like county IDs, board transparency, and the new juvenile detention center. While the general election on November 8th, with the general election on November 8th, organizers say these kind of events are an important way to keep people informed.
A lot of times we complain after the fact, and we don't go out and take advantage of our power. And our power is to go out and exercise our vote. But in order to exercise a vote, we need to be informed on who we're voting for and why we're voting for those people.
Another forum for the candidates in the race for Scott County Recorder and Auditor will be held this Saturday at the Rogalski Center on the St. Ambrose University campus. Turning to local sports, there's a new varsity team on the Augustana College campus this year. TV6's Evan Denton sat in on the team's practice to find out what makes this team unique.
Working to create an opportunity here at Augustana that we're not just offering a program, but offering a program that is going to be a flagship program, not just in Illinois, but throughout the country.
Esports is now the 29th varsity sport offered at Augustana.
It's exciting to see Augustana invest into creating a program that is just not another program, but really putting the resources behind it so that we can be a diamond.
The esports team is already making school history.
We're the first all-gender team in Augustana's history. Currently, right now, we have 3 women on our team, 2 on our Valorant team, and 1 on our Overwatch team.
When esports was a club team, they huddled into a campus home with 6 computers. Now, they practice inside of the state-of-the-art Augustana Esports Center and the Brunner Theater Center.
Back then, we would struggle juggling around each other for playing time, but now we could all play at the same time.
Brand new facility this year with 20 gaming PCs, dedicated stations for our sport game players, as well as our Smash Ultimate players, as well as a new production studio is huge.
Not looking in their favor, but my God, they have taken it right back to their side.
It's really allowing students to see what opportunities they should be looking at the next level if they want to play collegiate esports.
The interest in esports is growing rapidly across the country.
I feel like people have more open-minded about the esport. They consider it similar to traditional sport now. Not a bunch of guys who just sit there and play video games.
I got into collegiate esports in 2017, and from the time that I set up my first program, there was about 120 schools. Now there's around 400 varsity programs across the United States and Canada.
That was TV6's Evan Denton reporting. Now, the Augustana Esports team competes in 7 different games. To learn more about the team, visit the link at the bottom of your screen. Coming up on Quad Cities Today at 11, leaders are working to revitalize the city of Hong Kong after 2 years of tight COVID-19 restrictions. But some may think it's too late.